All right, let's go straight into it. So, my people, this issue between Nnamdi Kanu and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is one of the biggest topics right now in Nigeria's political space. You see, news just came out that Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, also known as IPOB, has dragged President Tinubu and the federal government to court, asking that his trial be brought to an end. Now, this development has raised many eyebrows, and people are asking, what exactly is going on? Why is Kanu going after the president himself? Stay with me till the end, and please, if you're watching this right now, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this gist is hot and it's very important you understand what's happening. So here's how it started. Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention for a long time now, facing charges related to terrorism and treason. His supporters believe he's being unfairly treated, while the government says he must face the law for what they call acts that threatened Nigeria's unity. But recently, something changed. Kanu decided to take a bold step. He filed a new legal action, reportedly naming President Tinubu and the federal government, saying that his ongoing trial is illegal and should be stopped. According to reports, Kanu's argument is that the court handling his case does not have the proper jurisdiction to try him. He also complained that his rights are being violated because he has not been given proper access to his case file and that his legal team has faced interference. In fact, he even sacked his former legal team and brought in a new one to take over the matter. You see, that move alone shook the courtroom. Even the judge had to adjourn the case because Kanu said he needed time to study his file and prepare properly for the next step. Now, the interesting part of this gist is how this whole thing connects to President Tinubu. When Kanu's lawyers filed this new case, it was said that they listed Tinubu and the federal government as defendants, asking the court to stop the trial until certain constitutional issues are resolved. That means Kanu is not just fighting the court case, he's now challenging the government directly, and that's what made this story go viral. Let's break it down in simple terms. What Kanu is basically saying is, I want justice, and I don't believe I can get it from this same system that's been holding me for years. That's his point. He's saying the court doesn't have the right to continue his trial because his arrest and transfer from Kenya to Nigeria were illegal in the first place. He has been saying that for a long time, but now he's putting more pressure on the system. Now, before we go further, please, if you're watching, kindly like this video and subscribe. It helps this channel grow and it makes sure you don't miss the next update when new information drops. Thank you. Back to the matter. Remember that when Kanu was first brought back from Kenya, many human rights groups around the world spoke up. They said the process didn't follow international law. They called it an extraordinary rendition. That means someone was taken from another country without due legal process. Since then, that issue has never been fully resolved. Kanu's lawyers have been using it as one of the main points to challenge his continued detention. Now, this latest move of dragging Tinubu and the federal government to court seems to be part of that same strategy, to get the court to either release him completely or to stop the trial until all these legal questions are answered. But the government side is also strong. The prosecution team insists that the court has full power to continue the case and that Kanu must face the charges against him. They believe the law must take its course, no matter who is involved. So you can see the kind of battle we are talking about. One man versus the entire system. The last court sitting was dramatic. Kanu appeared in court wearing his usual white outfit. His lawyers told the judge that they could not continue because they didn't have the necessary documents. The judge listened and then adjourned the trial to the following Monday. The court was filled with tight security, police, DSS, and other agencies all over the place. Even journalists were screened before entering. It shows how sensitive this matter is. And just a few days before that, there were protests in Abuja. Supporters of Nnamdi Kanu came out demanding his release. They were carrying placards shouting "Free Kanu now" and calling on the government to end what they call political persecution. But the police quickly stepped in, fired tear gas, and dispersed the crowd. Some people were arrested, and the videos went viral online. Nigerians were reacting from every angle, some supporting the protesters, others warning that protests must be peaceful. Let me ask you right now, do you think this matter will end soon? Drop your comment below and tell me what you think. And please like this video and subscribe because we need to discuss this deeply. Now, moving forward, this new case by Kanu is more than just a legal issue. It's political, it's emotional, and it affects the whole country. Why? Because Kanu's case has divided opinions across Nigeria. In the southeast, many see him as a freedom fighter. But in other parts of the country, some people see him differently. They think his actions could divide the nation. So every time there's a new twist, it creates fresh reactions. The government wants to show that no one is above the law. But Kanu wants to prove that the law must be fair to everyone, including those who challenge the government. And that's where the clash begins. Another thing making this case even more interesting is how President Tinubu's administration will handle it. Remember, under Buhari's time, Kanu's case dragged for years. There were several court rulings and appeals, and even when some courts ordered his release, the government refused to let him go, saying there were still charges to answer. Now, under Tinubu, people are watching closely to see if anything will change. Many observers believe that Tinubu's government has a big opportunity here to show that it respects the rule of law and can handle sensitive cases differently. But others think the government will not want to look weak by releasing Kanu just like that. Now, let's talk about the possible outcomes of this new legal move. If the court accepts Kanu's argument and agrees that his trial should be stopped, that will be a major win for him. It could even lead to his release or a restart of the case under new conditions. But if the court rejects it, then the trial will continue and he will have to defend himself against the terrorism charges. Either way, the impact will be massive. Let's not forget the regional effects too. Every time there's tension around Kanu's case, the southeast feels it. Sometimes businesses close down, roads become empty, and people stay indoors out of fear of clashes. IPOB supporters sometimes call for sit-at-home days in solidarity with Kanu. Those actions have affected daily life and economy in that region. So if this legal battle drags on, it might affect peace in that area again. That's why some leaders and groups have been appealing to both sides to find a peaceful way to end it. They want dialogue, not more court fights, but as things stand, Kanu seems determined to fight to the very end, and the government too is not ready to back down. Please, before we continue, like this video and subscribe. You see, this gist is deep and we need to keep following it together. Thank you. Now, let's look at another angle, the international one. Some members of the international community have been monitoring this case for years. They are concerned about human rights and the right to a fair trial. The United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has already said that Kanu's detention violated international law and called for his release. But Nigeria's government responded that the group's statement was just an opinion, not a binding order. So you can see it's a back and forth situation that's been going on for years. The question now is, will Tinubu's government listen to those international concerns or continue the legal process as it is? Time will tell, but from how things are going, this case might soon turn into a test of Tinubu's leadership style, whether he's ready to handle sensitive political matters through dialogue or through the court system. Also, Nigerians are watching because they know this case affects everyone indirectly. It touches issues like justice, fairness, the independence of the judiciary, and even unity of the nation. Many people are saying, if Kanu's rights can be ignored, then anybody's rights can be ignored too. Others are saying, the law must not be selective. These are powerful points that make the conversation even more serious. Now, one thing that stood out in the last few days is how calm Kanu has remained. Despite being in detention for so long, he still comes to court and speaks firmly. He's not shouting or acting out. He's just insisting on his legal rights. That kind of calmness is what has kept his supporters loyal to him for this long. They see him as someone who believes in his cause, no matter what happens. Meanwhile, the government side is not taking chances.
They've tightened security around him, his court appearances, and even around major cities during hearing days. It shows they know how sensitive the issue is. And that's why everyone's watching. What will happen next Monday when the case resumes?
Will the court finally decide on this new suit, or will there be another delay? As we continue this gist, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because when the next development happens, I'll be here to break it down for you clearly and fast. Now let's look at one more related matter. After Kanu filed this new suit, there were reports that the presidency asked legal authorities to investigate or even sanction one of his lawyers who joined the protest. That sparked another round of debate. Some people said the government should focus on the case, not the lawyers. Others argued that lawyers must follow the rules and not get involved in street protests. You see, this is another example of how every part of this case becomes political. And that's why this gist is not just about Nnamdi Kanu alone. It's about how Nigeria as a country handles justice, power, and freedom of speech. It's about whether citizens trust the system to give fair judgment or not. That's why it's so important for people to follow updates like this and stay informed. Now, as we move closer to the next hearing, people are asking, will there be any surprises? Will Kanu appear with a new legal team? Will the judge accept his argument? And will there be peace in the southeast during this period? These are questions that everyone is waiting to see answered. So my people, this is where we are right now. Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention. The trial is on hold till the next hearing. His new case is targeting the government, and Nigeria is watching closely. Whatever happens next could change the direction of this case completely. I'll keep you updated with every new detail that drops. Please, before you go, make sure you like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to this channel because this gist is just getting started. Should I continue the gist from here?